Okay, here's the ranking up front so you don't have to wait for it. For natural hair length retention, tier 1 is lubrication oils. Tier 2 is penetration oils that can actually go into the hair shaft. And tier 3 is occlusives, so heavy butters and oils and greases, which unfortunately are the easiest and surest way to create drag and tangles and breakage on dry natural hair. In this video, we'll discuss exactly how each category works, how to use it, how much of it to use, and how to stop the one mistake that makes people think that particular oils do not work for them, when the problem was that the oils were used as moisturizers instead of as surface tools. Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Here's a core truth that you need to hear once and for all. Oils are excellent products. They reduce friction between strands by smoothing the cuticle scales on the hair so that the strands can glide past each other and slide past each other without grabbing onto the next strand. They also slow down water movement in and out of the hair strand. They thwart surfactant damage and improve the surface feel of the hair strand. The catch though is you need to know which job you are asking the oil to do. And if you use too much or too often, you can overload your hair strands. You can increase residue on the hair, increase the tangling force, and cause dehydration, especially if we do not wash our hair properly or often enough, and all of this can lead to breakage. So here we go. There are three main functions of oils. Number one is lubrication, which means lower friction and lower combing force. Function number two is occlusion, right? Meaning that the barrier slows water exchange in and out of the hair between the hair and the environment, but with a high buildup risk, especially on fine strands. Function 3 is penetration, meaning that the oils diffuse into the hair fiber and can influence the swelling and shrinking of the hair and protein loss as well. There's also a lot of overlay between these tiers, as many oils do more than one job, and we'll see how that works in the video. But let's start with tier 1, lubrication, because this is the safest retention lane for natural hair when used correctly. Here's the problem lubrication solves. Most breakage on natural hair happens when force and friction spike during detangling, during styling, during manipulation, and especially at the ends of the hair where the hair is older and weaker and more porous. The solution, what oils can do, is reduce friction between strands so that the combing force drops. When combing force reduces, breakage risks reduce as well. That is the mechanism that actually protects the fibers of our hair. Lubrication and manageability of the strands are tied to the reduced combing force, and surface foams, that spread well on the hair, can lower friction between the fibers, and this is what we want our oils to do. So the rule for tier 1 is to lubricate where friction is high, not just because we want shine on our hair. For most people, that means oiling the lengths of the hair, especially the mids of the hair, and even more so the ends of the hair, and using an appropriate amount for how much hair you have, how thick your strands are, and how dense your hair is, because fine hair will collapse when you apply too much oil to it, or when you apply oil like it is a lotion for the body. So please, 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 if you remember nothing else in this section, please remember this. A couple drops of oil, rub between your palms, and to where you barely feel the oil on your palms, and then smoothed onto the hair, setting at the ends of the hair, which are more porous and can do with any and every help that we give to them. On fine hair, if you can feel the oil on your hands after applying it to your hair, you probably have too much oil. Now, what counts as lubrication in practice? Here are some examples. Mineral oil is a classic surface lubricant. It has no affinity for hair proteins, and so it's unable to diffuse into the hair fiber, which is exactly why it behaves like a surface film, which is not bad. It's not a weakness, right? This is exactly how it works as a lubricant. Jojoba oil, number 2, which is technically a liquid wax ester, is like a light spreadable film and often feels less greasy to some people when used in small amounts. Then we have grapeseed oil. This is another excellent oil, and high linoleic safflower oil. These two often feel lighter and spread easier, so that's good. And then there is sunflower oil as well. All these oils are excellent oils as surface lubrications. Now, here's a category that many of us forget about. The silicone-like lightweight esters that are already formulated inside our leave-ins and inside our stylers Many of these oils and esters and emollients are designed and formulated to give us slip without greasiness, without heaviness. And that is why for natural hair, especially fine hair, a good leave-in conditioner, a good cream, a good serum can outperform raw oils and butters for styling, for detangling, and manageability. Now, the failure modes that we don't want so we don't sabotage our hair. The first failure is applying oil to dry, rough, unconditioned hair. On that surface, the oil cannot spread evenly, so it clumps, and then we add more, and then we create drag. We don't want that. Second failure is applying oil everywhere, including the roots of the hair. This can cause the hair to collapse, to become limp and weighed down from too much product, and can cause buildup that then requires harsher shampoos to remove. The third failure is daily re-oiling just stacks residue onto the hair. It increases drag and then forces harsher cleansing, and then friction increases, and then detangling force increases, and the cycle repeats itself all over again. Re-oiling the ends of the hair with a tiny amount of a lightweight oil can be amazing, especially if the hair is washed often. Otherwise, we're asking for buildup, we're asking for lint, we're asking for the strands to grab onto each other, and we don't want that. So, to summarize, oil is an excellent tool. Used in small doses on top of conditioned hair, and only on hair that actually needs it. If oiling makes your detangling harder, we've created drag and not protected the hair from anything. Moving on to tier 3, yes, 3, occlusion. This is the category that makes natural hair feel coated but still dry underneath and dehydrated underneath, and is the place that most of us get stuck at. The problem occlusion tries to solve is the dryness feel problem. Your hair roughs up quickly, the ends feel brittle, you want to seal it up with something thick so that the hair stays soft. The solution is a barrier that slows down the movement of water in and out of the hair fiber and protects the hair from the environment. Heavy waxy materials spread differently. Butters and waxes and greases, they spread differently and can increase combing force when they do not distribute evenly along the tress. Right? So if we can come up with a way to properly, evenly distribute these thicker products onto the hair, excellent. But for natural hair, especially for fine hair, increased combing force creates breakage because fine fibers have less tolerance when drag increases on the surface of the hair. So here's my submission to you for occlusion. Occlusion is for the ends of your hair only, and only a tiny amount, and only occasionally, unless you wash your hair often, which is great. Right? If you use a butter, a heavy raw butter or a thicker oil on dry hair, it goes on the last inch or two and not the whole head, and is potentially for long intervals, so you're leaving your hair alone for a few weeks and you're not touching it daily. Excellent. But it shouldn't replace a good conditioning system, a good deep conditioning system. The red flags are if hair becomes harder to rinse, harder to detangle, rigid, duller, snaggy, and takes longer to drench, reduce occlusion or reduce the frequency or how much we use quantity-wise. Here's some examples. Almond oil. Excellent emollient, and it fills the gap between the cuticle cells to increase elasticity and to seal the surface of the strand. So is mineral oil. We spoke about that. It is an excellent lubricant, but it's also an excellent occlusive as well. And then there is sesame and mustard oil. Those are some oil examples. Now butter examples. We've got raw shea butter, mango butter, cocoa butter, heavy pomades, waxy blends, and petrolatum type greases. They all live here. They're not bad. They're just high risk on hair that is not washed properly, or on fine strands, or on low density hair, especially when they're used as a moisturizer, or if the hair is manipulated too much or left just to be happy and free with all of those heavy products attracting lint and dirt to the hair. While all oils provide some kind of lubrication, gloss, and softness, including the ones mentioned in this tier, raw butters in their pure raw state or used too much or too often are heavy and persistent and can actually increase combing force because they are not fluid enough, they're not liquidy enough, they do not spread easily, and so they're very persistent. But not all hope is lost, because they are most effective as lubricants when formulated into emulsions like conditioners and deep conditioners, leave-in conditioners, and styling creams. Now moving on to tier number 2, penetrating oils. These oils have a low molecular weight and a chemical structure, often straight linear chains, that allows them to easily diffuse past the cuticle scales and into the hair's core. They are used to fill internal voids, to plasticize the matrix, and to increase flexibility of the hair and prevent protein loss. Penetration occurs when a butter or an oil contains low molecular weight triglycerides that can go past the cuticle into the cortex. But like many oils, when used too much, the hair can feel stiff or weird, making us think that the oil doesn't work for us or that we are protein sensitive. That's not the case. The solution is to use said oil as a pre-wash, not as a daily post-wash moisturizing product. There is a ton of published evidence showing that coconut oil reduces protein loss from the hair when used as a pre-wash and yes, as a post-wash, while mineral oil, sunflower oil did not show the same protein loss reduction. Oils like coconut oil and MCT oil are superior because they act as occlusives on the surface of the hair, right while their low molecular weight triglycerides diffuse into the cortex of the hair. This internal modification replaces the softening effect of moisture with the plasticizing effect of oil, ensuring that the hair remains flexible rather than brittle. Coconut oil reinforces the structure from within and requires only a tiny amount. We go into details in this video here, but if you want to use coconut oil as a pre-wash, consider applying a small amount to the hair. Dissolve it, in your hands if it is a butter, if it's cold, right? And then apply it to dry hair, not wet hair. Leave it on for some time, perhaps overnight, and then wash and condition. Do not use it daily. If coconut oil makes your hair stiff or rough or catchy or crunchy or tangled, please stop using it. That is, we've either used too much of it or we're not cleansing our hair properly enough. Interestingly, and my research brought me to this point, we also have some penetrating butters that can diffuse past the cuticles into the cortex, right? We have Ukuba butter, I hope I'm saying that well, which contains a low molecular mass triglyceride that reinforces the internal structure, the internal matrix of the hair, and even shea butter, but when it is used in treatments of bleached hair. Then shea butter can penetrate into the hair shaft, right? Because the hair is bleached and therefore more porous. Penetrating oils and butters can also act as potent lubricants, as they provide that increased slip between the strands so that the strands can glide past each other, and they flatten the jagged cuticle edges as well. However, even penetration oils used as a daily moisturizer is not a good idea for natural hair. So, if your biggest issue is breakage during detangling, start with tier 1, lubrication, and we can fix slip first because combing force is where delicate fibers lose a lot of length when we detangle. A good conditioner, a good leave-in conditioner with slip, and then a light lubrication oil. Starting at the ends or ends only, depending on how much hair you have, use an amount that correlates with this section. But if your biggest issue is that the ends of your hair are drying out, especially when you wear your hair out, right, then we can consider using tier 3 occlusion, but only tiny amounts, and wash your hair or clarify your hair so that drag does not cause buildup. But if your issue is that your hair feels weaker after washing, or you want to reinforce your hair to prepare it for the traumatic experience that is washing the hair and conditioning and detangling, consider tier 2. Apply coconut oil to your hair as a pre-wash and then go wash your hair. To prevent common issues like buildup and drag, grooming friction and breakage, you must balance the oil's ability to form a barrier on the hair with its structural and chemical interactions with the hair shaft, whether or not it can penetrate into the hair. So in my opinion, not that you asked me for it, but in my opinion, instead of using a heavy oil or butter or grease or pomade, not that these things are bad, they have their place, I use a pomade, but very little. Instead of using those, especially because they can cause buildup that then requires you to clarify your hair or wash too many times, or your products stop behaving the way they behave and then your hair is frizzy because of all the buildup and the rigidity and the stiffness. In my opinion, choose an oil that provides lubrication, occlusion, and penetration, and coconut oil and MCT oil are the best oils. In terms of extra oils we're adding to the hair, right? Obviously, use products that have oils in them, but extra oils is what we're referring to. Coconut oil is a butter when it is cool, but MCT oil is lighter and it's a clear liquid at room temperature and even when refrigerated, and it has been processed for even faster and deeper penetration. MCT oil fills subsurface microcavities and interacts with the protein network inside the hair shaft to increase tensile strength and to decrease protein leakage, similar to coconut oil but without the residue that we may get from coconut oil that makes us think that we are protein sensitive, especially when we use too much coconut oil or when we use it as a moisturizer rather than how we've discussed it to be used. As a lubricant, MCT oil provides the much necessary slip, being an oil, right, versus coconut oil that can go to sleep and become a butter when it's cold. MCT oil provides a glide so that the strands can still glide past each other. MCT oil is an excellent oil. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what oils you use and why, what you use an oil for. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.